I'm Alex Pault, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Today, I'm at the Geneva Watch Days, and I'm with Samuel Hoffman. How's it going, Samuel? You're with Hautulence, right?
That's correct, yeah. Everything's going great. We're excited to be in Geneva again for another fair, and it's great to see you.
Very cool. Now, I'm going to ask you a little bit about the background of the company, but first, I understand you're part of the Moser. There's a group that you're involved with, right?
Yeah, so we're part of that Moser group. So it's a family group owned by the Menon family. And what we have are three companies. We have Moser, or H. Moser and Company. We have Hautulence, and we have a third company which focuses on escapements and hairsprings and so on, called Precision Engineering.
Very cool. Well, escapements and hairsprings are where it's at in one sense. Without that, nothing runs.
That's correct, yeah. So that's really the heart piece of a watch.
Now, it's interesting because Moser has very clean, simple designs, and Hautulence really has some very interesting, funky, attractive, different designs. What came about? How did that come about?
So the brand is actually 20 years old, launched back in 2004. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. And so the brand has always been very much linked to the TV shape. Mm-hmm. And the idea is using different functions to tell the time, often using motion. And so it's really something very aesthetic, but at the same time, from an engineering standpoint or watchmaking, something very contemporary and away from the traditional side of watchmaking, which is, of course, the exact opposite of what Moser is, where the idea is where we go, where Moser likes to simplify things, make it clean, and remove the bulk, if we want to say, and we are truly going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, but then that gives people also a nice choice that they can go with something. As a matter of fact, have both in the collection, an Hautulence in the collection and a Moser, depending on your moods, you know?
Exactly, yeah. And these really are, I mean, horlogerie is always like that, right? It's not here for the utilitarian side of things. It's really here for the aesthetics and having something nice to wear or something to look at and try to understand.
Very cool. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of these pieces? Now, this one looks like that radio, exactly. Not a television.
So this is a piece this was actually a talking piece that we launched back during Watches and Wonders in April. And this was actually based, so we took the inspiration from this radio from 1947, made out of bakelite. And what we wanted to do was to create a fun, nostalgic piece that people would talk about and share. And it was so well received, actually, that we ended up putting it into production a couple of months ago.
Very cool.
A small series of 10. It actually has a tourbillon hidden under the speaker grill. So really high quality watchmaking, but with this fun twist that we don't usually see.
Fun and whimsical, exactly. Very nice. And the time display looks like an old radio tuning dial.
Exactly, and this I would argue is the most traditional of Hautulence pieces. We don't usually have pieces with two hands. In this case, we do. So for the people who like something traditional, go for the more quirky.
There you go. Well, let's look at one of the ones that has a more non-traditional. We'll look at both of those, in fact. Mm-hmm. This one has a ball with the numbers on it. That's exactly. A very interesting presentation.
So this is the Sphere, Series 1 that we launched in in August of last year, so exactly a year ago, and we won the GPHG award for innovation for this piece.
Oh yes, I remember. Very nice.
Yeah. And so what we have here is all of the elements that make Hautulence an Hautulence. We have the TV shape, modern, water resistant as well, so something you can wear every day. At the same time, what we have is the retrograde feature and the jumping hours, but very, very three-dimensional. So what we have is, now it's 7:30, and if we continue, we'll see that jump and that turn on 3 axes, giving you this feeling that the ball is turning kind of in free space, but obviously it can't because it needs to go to the next hour.
But it really does give the illusion that it's just floating in space, and so the mechanism to move the ball must be very complex.
Yeah, so this is what took, of course, the most amount of time. You'll see if we look at this watch, it looks like 2 halves, or if you look at the back, the movement side. What's very particular here is we have the entire movement on one side, and this complication, if we can call it that, on the left side is the hours. So this allows us in future to replace one side with something else. So it's kind of a modular system.
Or different color balls.
Or different color balls, yeah.
So now, what about this one here? This one has a very interesting, like open. You can see some of the levering in the front, and of course you see the beautiful movement in the back. Why don't you explain how this one works?
Yeah, so this is the HL20. The brand, as I mentioned before, was launched 20 years ago, and the first pieces had this movement here. So this is what the brand started with, and to celebrate our 20th anniversary, we launched this piece where we took that original movement again, but using that movement to show the last 20 years, and we want to represent the next 20 with this new case in titanium, so smaller and with a slightly different design, always in this TV shape, with a quick release for the strap. And so this is really a special edition of 20 pieces just for this year, or actually to represent this year, the 20th anniversary. And the goal with this is, just to look back and forward at the same time.
Very nice, very nice. Was there anything else you wanted to tell us about before we let you go?
I think that's it, unless you have questions for me.
Well, primarily I would say, what's next? But you probably wouldn't tell me.
What's next? We have, so our goal is to launch between 4 and 5 pieces every year. So we're quite a small brand. We produce around 150 pieces a year. So that's quite a lot of work for us to launch 4 or 5 pieces. This is something that we're going to do this year. So we've already launched 2 pieces. We're going to be launching 2 more towards the end of the year. And this will continue next year as well.
Very cool. Thank you so much for giving me the time to talk to you at this busy show. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you.